Hello everybody, it's Niklas and welcome to this new video on Cavalry, and in this video we are going to make an introduction to this software. What you can do with this software: you can work with animation. It is a powerful software that you can use. You have a free version and you have also a pro version, so it means a pay version with more features if you need. So it is perfect if you want to create different type of animation. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like this content. First link on the description, the complete course Cavalry is available. So if you want to learn this software starting from scratch with a course structure, it is on the first link on the description. You will see the model session of the course, what you will be able to learn in this complete course Cavalry. Second link on the description, it is like online school. You have a lot of graphic courses in different type of software that we use in these YouTube channels. And second link on the description, it is a summary of all the graphic complete courses available. So let's start with Cavalry. Let's talk a little bit about the interface first. So you have different type of options here. You can create a new scene, open a new scene, export a scene, and you have information about the view, about the composition, create animation, and more. When you go on this area, first thing, this is the asset. In the asset, you can find your composition, but you will be able also to import images if you need. Just below, you have the attribute editor. What is this? Every time when you create a shape, you add a new object, it will appear on the attribute editor when you can add keyframe and you can set different type of value to edit. Here in the center, this is the composition. You can zoom in and zoom out with the scroll wheel, and when you click on the scroll wheel, you can dragging and moving like this. Totally on the left of your composition, you have different type of tools of conception that you can use, like primitive tools, but you have also the pen tools, the selection tools. When you go and create here, you will find primitive, and all these primitives, this is everything that we have on this area. But when you go and create, you have primitive, but you can also add directly from here text. You can also add different type of shapes, and it is more advanced shapes that you can create. You will be able also to add behavior, so different type of behaviors. You can add also effect, and you have utilities. So on different type of selection, this is the different things that you can add: behaviors, effect, and also utilities. Some are available in the free version, some are available in the pro version, but you have the indication every time. And when you go on the right, you can add the color panels. So here is the color panels. You can find just on the right the add layers, and concretely you can add one more time shape, behavior, utilities, and effect from this panel. Totally below you have the same window. In the same window, you have a summary. It is like a layer panels. You have the different layers here. And on the right, you have the timeline where you can set keyframes. You have a time editor and also a graph editor to work with the interpolation. First things to do, define the size of your composition. When you go in the composition setting, you can create a new composition, and you can have access to the composition settings here. And you can define the size that you want. If I want, for example, a different size, I can tap this size, as you can see, and I change the size of my composition. So you can define the option also here. You can find the number of frames per second and the size of your composition as well. Let's just come back to composition settings. So you have different options. I will come back with the HD options, but you can also personalize if you want to enter your specific size. Here, this is a frame range, by default 0 to 249. So you can tap the frame range that you want. I can tap, for example, 200, just like this. And here it changes on the timeline from 0 to 200. And you have also the frame rate. So concretely, the frame rate will define the duration of the animation depending on the frame range. So if I have a frame range of 200, and if I have a frame rate of 25, it means that I have 25 images per second. and it means that I will have 8 seconds of animation, because 200 divided by 25, we will obtain 8 seconds. So here, for example, my animation duration will be 8 seconds. You can also change the backgrounds. So if you want to apply any color, you can, for example, change the backgrounds as well directly on your composition. So composition settings, you will find the different type of options on this area. Let's just come back with the black color. Further, you have more advanced feature. We are going to stay here to edit the composition. You will find multiple tools of conception just on this area. So for example, you can add shapes, like for example, a rectangle, a circle. You can also use the pen tools to create different type of curves, just like this. You can also have access to line tools. So you have different type of tools of conception and more advanced shape that you can create as well. So now what is the principle of the animation? For example, I will create a rectangle, and I will create a rectangle maybe around this area, and with my selection tool on the right, I will define a color, like for example the red color, and place the rectangle in the middle, because here you can apply the snapping options, and you can activate, deactivate the snapping options and select what you want to snap. You can also have access to guides if you need. So you have different type of options. So I can create my rectangle. My rectangle will appear directly on this area. We have a rectangle shapes, and on the left, we will have different type of options, like for example, the translation on X, Y axis. We can also create some rotation. We can scale X, Y, and you can add shear. So this is a property that we can apply on all the objects selected. And this property, we can animate all these properties. So something that I'm going to do, it is to create another rectangle. So I will create another rectangle just here, define one more time the red color, and place this in the center. Maybe I can scale a little bit, just like that, and place in the center. Now I will add some text also. So I'll click on the text tool. You have the text tool here. And I will go left click, and I can type what I want. Let's just type title for the example. So I will type title, and if I select my text shapes, double click, and you can have access to the attribute editor, to the options. And when I continue a little bit, you can change, for example, the font family. You can scale your text just like this. I can also change the color. So it means you can just go on the right in the color wheel, change the color, and with my selection tool, I can place my text where I want, and I can define, for example, in the center, just like this. So here you have this different text. If you want to animate some properties, so what is the aim? I will select, for example, the rectangle, double click here. And the rectangle, when I go on the left, I will animate some properties. What properties I will animate? I will animate the scale value. So it means here we have the scale value. I can activate the proportion. And for the scale value, I will reduce to, and I will activate also the property here, this is the transparency. But here we work for the text. So I will work with the rectangle shape. So double click to enter in the double shapes. So what I will use the transparency. You can activate a keyframe, click to set keyframe. And at the same time, I will use directly the scale value, activate the proportion, and activate a keyframe here on the timeline at 0. And what I will do, I will decrease the value at 0. So here we enter, and we will type 0. And at the same time, I will decrease the transparency to 0 as well. And I will go on my timeline. And on my timeline, I will arrive maybe at, maybe we can go at 60, just like this. And at 60, what I will do, I will increase the transparency to 100. And on this area, I will increase the rectangle maybe just like this. And what you can see inside the rectangle shape, we have opacity. So the value of the keyframe for the opacity, scale X, scale Y axis at a moment on the timeline. So here we can find the value are going to move. And to play your animation, you have the different options here. So for example, I can move my rectangle just like this. If I want to make the text appearing after, so how I can do? I can let maybe little space like weight at 70. And at 70, what I will do, I will double click on my titles and we will work only with the transparency, for example, value. So what we can do, we can activate the layers transparency here at 70 to 0. And I will make the text appearing here maybe at 100, let's put 105, maybe something like this. And at 105, I will work with the transparency like this. And we have created this small animation. The rectangle will appear, then the text will appear with the transparency. But we have also a lot of options that we can use. So for example, with the text, we have the character spacing, word spacing, and more. So if I wanted to continue, I could, for example, at maybe 112, I can activate a keyframe for the character spacing, and I can go at 130, and I can increase the character spacing here. Here, not from the center point, but I will go on this area, and it is same, I can come back with the character spacing. So you can make a lot of things. So it's definitely a very interesting software if you want to work with various type of animation. You have a lot of type of options. And the software is really powerful. Here is just an overview about what you can do to have some basics to start. You can even work with a graph editor, and thanks to that you have access to different curves, and you will be able to work with the interpolation to increase the quality of the animation. So we are going to stop here for this video introduction of Cavalry. If you like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. First link on the description, the complete course Cavalry is available. So if you want to learn this software, starting from scratch with the course structure, it will be on the first link on the description. You will see the models, session of the course, what you will be able to learn. It is a complete course, a lot of hours of training content to see all the conception part and all the animation part of the software. Second link on the description, the website in link with this YouTube channel. You can discover website on these YouTube channels and have different basicals on this software. And second link on the description, it is a summary of all the graphic courses available. You can pick a course and learn any graphic software. For next video, see you. Ciao, ciao.